Okay, yeah, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles time. Like one of the most famous beat-'em-ups out there. Turtles in Time. I didn't have this game, even though I was a big Turtles fan, and I wished I had it. Because, I mean, look at this intro. It is, like, picture perfect from the cartoon. Yep, so this one is apparently slightly harder than Final Fight 3. And I did feel that this one is a pretty easy one. Even though, to be honest, I have yet to play it through. Yes, I didn't have it as a kid because I had Turtles 1 and 2 for the NES. I always go with Leo, but let's change characters. Let's go with Donatello. I usually always go with Leo. He was always my favorite. Hello, I'm April O'Neil reporting. Smash! Like, how fucking big has Krang become, man? Hey, Shredder, bring that statue back, you bloated beanbag. I mean, that's just perfect. Again, Big Apple, 3 a.m. I love that sound clip. But either way, this is really cool. But I had the Turtles game for the NES, both of them. There was 3 of them, the Tournament Fighter and shit. But I like how here it's not just go, but it's like here. Okay, this is something that always bugged me with this one. When you want to run, you have to actually push forward longer. This is a very excellent beat 'em up. Don't get it twisted, but I found double tapping forward just more intuitive. But again, I had Turtles 2, the arcade game, which is just the NES version of the arcade game, and it's very similar to this. Yeah, the story is pretty different, but it's still the same game pretty much. So that was my Turtles beat 'em up game that I enjoyed, and we played the shit out of that. Turtles 2, the arcade game, because I didn't play I knew about Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, and I always wanted it, but we just didn't have it because it was like me and my brother would decide on what games we would get. So again, this one is pretty easy, but it can have a bit of a kick, just like. Now, I have played the arcade version through when I was checking out MAME, and it was pretty fun. It's pretty much this game. I know that Hyperstone Heist is using basically the same engine, but they made a new game out of it. But again, here it's all Foot Soldier mooks, just different colored, which I think is fine. I think that is pretty cool that like Krang is like Godzilla sized and they actually show it. Again, this is a good game. But maybe if I would have a chance to play it, I would play the arcade game where you can play all 4 Turtles at once, if I would have a chance to play it with multiple people. I mean, it does control pretty well, and I can see why it's one of their favorite beat-em-ups. I mean, if I would have it as a kid, I probably would love the shit out of it. I think I had at least 1 or 2 friends who had it, but for some reason I never got to play it. Because I guess, like, I don't know. I had the arcade game, the second one on NES, which is very similar. It's pretty much the same game. Let's be honest. And don't underestimate that one. It's very good. Right. Okay, it's Baxter Stock. I want to at least beat him. And this always brings you back with Turtles shit. I love the Turtles. I remember I had a bunch of the toys and shit. I think I had also Baxter Stockman. I didn't have a Foot Soldier though. Believe it or not, the one guy, the Mook, we never found him. My friend didn't have him. He had a later foot soldier, one of the semi-transformables, not the full transformable, because there's so many different variants. But getting like a foot soldier seemed to be just fucking impossible. We never got to see it in the store. Sure, it was released, but in much lower quantities than like the Turtles, Rocksteady, Bebop, and Shredder. Also Krang, because the first release of Krang was when he had still just the simple robot legs. That one we never saw, and that one we wanted to have, because we wanted to have all the ones in the cartoon, right? Yeah, he's pretty easy. But this one has a little bit of a challenge to it, so it's not super easy. I think it's just right. It's just the right kind of challenge, you know. You can beat this game, you know. Even alone, but I mean, it's especially fun and slightly more easier if you have a friend. But this was a cool idea when they did the arcade original of this. What is the engine that they used? That Konami decided we're gonna do where you can play all four at once, because that's what you want, right? Because that's the whole point, right? Like, let's say you're in America and you're in a Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. You're in a kid in the late 80s, early 90s, whenever this game came out, the arcade version, and you wanted to play with your friends together. You know, like you wanted to have the experience of being the Turtles. That's what you wanted. You wanted to have you had 4 friends. It was a birthday party. I would have loved the shit out of it. You know, that would have been fucking sweet. Now, playing 2-player on the NES version was cool too. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, because I think the Battletoads arcade game is pretty neat because you can play all 3 Battletoads at the same time. And that's the only one where you can, because in all of them they're usually, oh, I just got the pizza in just the nick of time. They're like either kidnapped or some shit, you know. So one of them is. So that's pretty neat. And also, it's pretty much the most pure beat 'em up out of all the Battletoads game, because most of them have like a lot of platform and puzzle elements where it starts out as a beat 'em up, but then it becomes more puzzly and more like quick reflexes and shit, and more like a platformer. Really unfair, really difficult gameplay then. I still like Battletoads, but goodness gracious, I wish they would have been just straight up. That's why I always say, if you really want to experience Battletoads, just play the arcade game. And they haven't released it officially. Okay, this was one. And this is from the movie. Cool. It's really cool. So, one continue. So, I've gotten pretty far. This one can be a little bit of a challenge, but yeah. No, not too bad. Still easy, but not completely easy. I'd say it's already going towards the just right kind of thing. Anyway, to the next game, Cowabunga.